Hello, everyone. Happy Saturday, very cold Saturday here in the New Orleans area. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Nate Podcast. Thank you all so much. Oh, y'all, I'm just loving this beautiful song. It's one of my favorite songs. Yes, indeed. Thank y'all so much for joining us today. We appreciate all your support. We invite you to subscribe. Oh, let me turn this song off, y'all. Time for me to sit down, get my thoughts together, and get this podcast kicked off. Well, thank you. Welcome. Hope you're having a beautiful Saturday here in the New Orleans area and also across America. Thank you all so much for joining us today, listening to another Nate podcast. Welcome, welcome. Well, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to talk about 2024 and also what happened in Miami on New Year's Day. I don't know if you all have heard the news about what happened in Miami with the 200 cop cars in front of Bayside Mall. 2020, or should I say 2024, is starting off pretty rough, y'all. Not just the weather, because it's 32 degrees right now in New Orleans. And it's not even the earthquakes like the one we had in Tokyo. It's so much going on in the world today that we have to pay attention to. And going back to 2020, you have to say things have not been normal. So, what is Mr. Jones going to talk about today? Well, as y'all in New Orleans know, we won a Super Bowl in Miami, Florida. Miami is always going to be one of our favorite cities. New Orleans loves Houston, and New Orleans loves Miami. Those are two of our favorite cities. And if you're from New Orleans, I'm pretty sure you would agree with me. But we marched down, won a Super Bowl in Miami. So that was some good times, y'all. But have you guys heard about the alien encounter in Miami, Florida? There have been bunches of people talking about seeing 8 foot, 9 foot, even 10 foot creatures or shadows of creatures right in front the entrance of the mall. Have y'all been paying attention? New Orleans East, Gentilly, Marigny, Bywater, Uptown, Garden District, Algiers. Have y'all been paying attention? Lakeview? Or have we been paying attention to Cat Williams and Shannon Sharp? Wonderful interview, right? And me as a statesman, I'm not a politician, I'm a statesman. Me as a statesman, I'm like, okay, maybe this is another distraction for black people and all people in general. Because the same week that Shannon Sharp and Cat Williams had that wonderful interview, and I enjoyed it. The same week, people in Miami were talking about the alien encounter on New Year's Day. Have y'all been hearing about it? Cause the media hasn't been putting it out there. They only broadcast what they want to broadcast. Amen. Just like during COVID, get the shot, get the shot, get the shot. Completely safe and effective. They say the same thing over and over, and we know it was lies. They had an agenda. So the media puts out what they want to put out, and they haven't put out the alien encounter in Miami, boys and girls of New Orleans. This is not Nate Jones saying this. Just Google it, right? Thankfully, I was born in the age of information, y'all. I was always a library bookworm at Warren Easton. All the cheerleaders and the football players were socializing in the courtyard at Warren Easton, but I was in the library looking up information. Boys and girls, the information is out there. Search it on YouTube, search it on Google, search it on Yahoo. You are going to find um, Miami Mall New Year's chaos and people saying that there were 10-foot alien looking shadow creatures right in front of the entrance of Bayside Mall. I believe it's Bayside Mall. I'll have to look up the name of the mall, but I believe it's Bayside Mall. But you can Google anything. Boys and girls, are black people talking about this in New Orleans? Or are we talking about the next second line? Are we talking about the alien hoax or whatever it is in Miami? Or are we talking about crawfish being almost $20 a pound? Now, though that's very serious too because I love me some crawfish. Love them, love them, love them. But black people, are we talking about the right things? White people in Lakeview, are we talking about this? Are you transplants that's in New Orleans? Are you talking about this? Do you remember what happened with COVID, everybody? And I'll say this, and I'll go on and explain the whole Miami alien encounter. Do y'all remember how COVID started 4 years ago? Well, let me refresh your memory. First, it was one case, and then Trump said, "Oh, it's only 15 cases." Trump's Batman-looking lip gesture with his hand signals. Oh, it's only 15 cases, and the next thing you know, the entire world was shut down. Right? It's like, oh no, no, it's not a big deal. No, it's only one here. It's only one there. It's an isolated event. Don't worry about it, America. And boom, lockdowns. Y'all remember now? So, my fellow Americans, now we have these alien um, episodes now. Just last summer, after my birthday, late July, there was a family in Las Vegas said they saw a alien looking creature in their backyard. Since then, no one has heard from the Las Vegas family. The neighbors in the neighborhood went knocking on their doors. Is everything okay? No answer. They just ghosted the family, boys and girls, in Las Vegas, July 2023. The family that said they saw a strange figure on their property. No one has heard from them. So we know maybe the government has talked to them and said, keep it hush hush. Maybe they were lobotomized. Maybe they were displaced, quote unquote. That was last summer. Now we're in winter 2024, and we have this New Year's Day Miami alien fiasco. I'm just going to call it a fiasco because I know what it is. I know what it is. And I'll get to that in a minute. We're going to call this a fiasco, y'all. Because we all been loving this Shannon Sharp, Cat Williams interview. But that's been, I would say, a smokescreen to what happened in Miami. January 1st, the Miami uh, alien fiasco. January 2nd, Cat Williams, Shannon Sharp interview. And of course, the interview's done very well. I enjoyed it, but we're not talking about the right things, New Orleans. This alien thing, if you've been listening to congressional meetings that they've been trying to release um, documents on these, you know, alien encounters or fiascos. Now, if you're religious, you might be saying, oh, these are principalities trying to deceive mankind. Well, that could be an explanation. Others might say, oh, it's the government playing games and trying to deceive people. All right, that could be true. Some people might be saying, oh, well, it's real aliens trying to uh, come to Earth and change human society. Well, that could be true, or whatever it is, right? People have their own theories. But we're starting to see this in the news, ladies and gentlemen. And 2024 is going to be one interesting year, y'all. One interesting year. Like Cat Williams said in his interview, this is going to be the year when the truth come out. And also by contrast, this will be a year where there's going to be a whole lot of deception, boys and girls of America, right? Even if you're not religious, Christ said, do not be deceived. Amen. Before he talked about sun, moon, stars, earthquake, world wars, famines, pestilences, he said, do not be deceived. Matthew 24:3. Do not be deceived, y'all. You could be an atheist, but you're not going to be deceived if you're doing a business deal, right? If you're atheist buying a house, you don't want the appraiser telling you that, hey, it's only worth 100 grand when it's worth, what, 80 grand or 150 grand, right? You don't want to be deceived by that business wise. So when it comes to things like, you know, alien fiascos, we got to stay awake, y'all. We cannot be deceived because things are going to start accelerating. There are going to be more lies being shown in the media, and ish was really to start hitting the fan. Well, we're going to take a short break to give a local advertisement for a local business. So stay right there and we'll be right back. Optical Auto. Get your windshield and vehicle repaired at an affordable price. Do you have a ding, chip, or crack in your windshield? Are you looking to upgrade your windows for tinting services? James is the person to call today. We know that it's cold in New Orleans in January, but summertime is fastly approaching in Louisiana. So be sure to get your windows tinted. It will help you in the summer months when it's 100 degrees. And remember, safety, safety, safety first. Let's get our windshield repairs. Call James today. Okay, boys and girls, welcome back to Nate Podcast. Thank you all for staying with us. And we invite you, please subscribe, hit the notification bell, send us a like, and feel free to comment, as we do appreciate free speech in America. Amen. So back to this alien fiasco, y'all. Now, one thing about this alien fiasco that I want to mention is that even though they've seen these vague, fuzzy images and lack of concrete video about these aliens, there hasn't been any alien contacting or touching another human. Do y'all remember Independence Day when Will Smith he kind of psychs out the alien flying behind him? He was a pilot of a U.S. fighter jet. The alien was coming after Will Smith, and Will Smith parachutes because his plane landed or crashed, and he parachutes to the alien vehicle, spacecraft. He opens the alien door, and Will Smith says, "Welcome to Earth," and he punches the alien in the head. Right? A mean, nice right hook. Welcome to Earth. Now, if you want to believe something, the senses have to be involved, correct? So why haven't we seen any aliens touching another human being? Maybe a hug or a handshake or things like that. Um, because you want to have concrete data with anything, right? So we've seen these fuzzy images, and even there's witnesses to the Miami Mall alien fiasco. We've seen video, we've heard witnesses, and you can find them on YouTube, if they haven't been taken down by the government, talking about, well, you can see this vague shadow on the video, but there hasn't been any contact between alien and human. Amen. So that's why I, as a statesman, says, do not be deceived. Keep your senses, and kind of examine what is out there before you draw a conclusion. Because, even though this thing might be fake, or even though it might be principalities trying to deceive mankind in these strange, abnormal times, we still have to stop, pause, think about it, and examine what we see. And I really hope New Orleans, because, as an educator, I can safely say that the education level of black people is not as high as, Indian people, Chinese, Asian, Spanish, or white people, right? If you collectively take our average, the average of our education, and compare it to other races, it's not as high as other races. And that's why I think we should pay attention as black people, because when anything goes down, black people are the first to be affected. Amen. Hurricane Katrina, who was the only group to be affected disproportionately? Black people, right? When COVID came out, who did CNN say that people are more exposed to the virus? Black people. Or who's more in danger of being susceptible to COVID. Black people. And even on the media, they were saying, oh, African Americans are at risk of getting COVID than any other race. And I remember those headlines, y'all. I've been watching every news piece since March 2020, examining it, analyzing it, all that. And they always seem to have black people at the bottom of the barrel. Because black people fell for the COVID vaccines, y'all. That's why I ran for mayor. Because I knew black people. Because if you look at the statistics, people with college degrees were skeptical of getting the COVID vaccine. Just do your research. People with college degrees or people in power, they were more skeptical of getting the COVID-19 vaccine. And a lot of blacks do not have college degrees. Let's just say it, right? Now, I think our young people are like at St. Augustine High School and St. Mary's. Nowadays, they're getting more opportunity, that they're getting smarter, and they're getting more scholarship money for school. That's great, right? And that's wonderful. But as an average, we always are the ones to suffer the most. So, with this whole alien fiasco, y'all, we really got to pay attention. I mean, these second lines and football games and crawfish, it's all fine and dandy. But just don't let it be a distraction. Ninth Ward. Don't let it become a smokescreen in your life. Third Ward. Don't let it dull your senses. Pigeon Town, Gertown, Holly Grove, Black Pearl. Amen. Because 2024, y'all, if you think, they said 2020 was rough, 2020 was rougher, 2022 was like, oh my God. And then 2023 was like, oh, make it stop. And now we got 2024, y'all. And just look at the food prices, y'all. I went to buy a pack of Oreos for my kids at school. I'm like, this is like 30% higher than what I used to pay than before COVID. I mean, bread, cereal, milk, it's all going high, y'all. We got to pay attention to where we are in a stream of time. Now, Nate Jones knows where we are in a stream of time, but I don't have 20 hours to explain to y'all because I can't just tell y'all in like 10 minutes. It's a whole lot of information. But I'm here to tell y'all better stay awake because things are going to start turning from bad to worse. People of New Orleans. All this gritty and dancing, it's all fine, nothing wrong with it. I actually had to teach myself how to do the gritty. Looked at some YouTube videos, practice at home, and after a lot of practice, I got it. So nothing wrong with enjoying life, y'all, but you got to keep your senses. Put that cigarette down. Put that alcohol down. Stop vaping your brain away. Put those drugs away. Put that cell phone down and remain human and keep your senses, people of New Orleans. Because I always say New Orleans is a special city. And I thank God every minute that I was born in a wonderful city. Because I seen the black people in Memphis, St. Louis, and South Chicago. Oh my goodness. I thank the Lord that He put me minimum among the blacks in New Orleans, because I couldn't imagine being in those other cities, y'all. No disrespect to other cities, but New Orleans is special, y'all. And I ain't gotta say this. Just go downtown New Orleans and spend a day in the French Quarter in the riverfront, City Park. The magic, the mystique in New Orleans, we love it. We want to keep that. And gentrification has done a number on New Orleans. COVID has done a number of New Orleans. So if y'all want to keep y'all city, you got to pay attention. You got to get involved in politics and look at the news, what they're reporting and not reporting. The whole Miami Mall alien fiasco, just the beginning, y'all. And sometimes black people, we can talk about the most insignificant things on planet Earth. Like, oh, I would never pay $400 for a piece of hair. I'd probably pay like 150 to get some horse hair or some human hair, but I would never pay $400. I mean, we're talking about some ninja stuff, y'all. Let's keep our senses, boys and girls of New Orleans, and especially the black community. When I ran for mayor, I ran for all communities, Lakeview and New Orleans East, if that makes sense. I didn't want whites to get stuck with a vaccine. I didn't want blacks to get stuck with a vaccine. My record shows that, y'all. But specifically, I'm talking to black people in New Orleans. Because if you want to keep your city, you got to fight back. And who's to say that this whole alien fiasco might blow up like COVID? Everybody becomes fearful. Because that's what they do, y'all. The powers that be are cowards themselves, and they want to scare you into doing things that you don't want to do. No jab, no job. If you don't get vaccinated, you're going to lose all your benefits. A lot of nurses have lost their jobs for not taking the vaccine, and doctors too. Blackballed for not, going with the program. So, boys and girls in New Orleans, I implore you, stay awake, keep your senses. Because even though this alien thing is not being on the national news like CBS and all that, CNN, you know, people got cell phones that they're going to record stuff and put it on social media. And that was part of God's plan for everybody to have that power. Because these last days, there's going to be so much information that even the government won't be able to keep up and block everything. So that is my 2 cents, y'all. We should be talking about the more important things, like what happened in Miami on New Year's Day, y'all. We had an earthquake in Tokyo on New Year's Day. We had the Shannon Sharp, Cat Williams interview on January 2. All that was a smokescreen to distract from what all those people saw in the Miami Mall. Boys and girls, how do you explain 200 cop cars in front of a mall? How do you explain that? Well, that's all the time we have, y'all. That's my 2 cents. And I'm going to wrap it up here. I thank y'all so much for listening. Thank y'all for subscribing. Our channel is small, but we're going to make some strides day by day. And we encourage you to keep the faith, keep your senses, Keep your humanity. Reach out, hug somebody, tell somebody you love them. Do something nice, and I guarantee you that good karma is going to come back to you tenfold. Thank you, New Orleans. Thank you, America. Have a great weekend, and we'll see y'all next week.